Everyone, to our implementation hour today. We're going to be covering a topic that's near and dear to my heart called aligned marketing. You may have seen me deliver this either in a webinar format or possibly live, but what I'm really excited about today is we get to spend an entire hour working through this stuff, and I'll have an opportunity to answer your questions, and we'll kick around some ideas as we go through it. We have a great group of folks on the call here today, so I'm looking forward to a terrific discussion. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Tom says, aligned marketing. Yeah. Tom, that's awesome. Thank you. So, here's a problem in a nutshell. The first thing is that oftentimes leads can be scarce, right? We're just not getting enough leads. Try as we might, we spend a lot of money and we spend a lot of time, but for some reason the leads are not coming through like we want them to come through. They're not either at a regular, consistent pace, or they are just not enough, and you just don't have the quantity of leads that you need to grow your business to the level that you would like. So that's the first biggest problem, and the most fundamental problem is you simply don't have enough leads, right? It's like a desert out there, very scarce. The second issue you run into is you end up wasting a lot. You end up wasting a lot of time, and you end up wasting a lot of money on marketing tactics that simply don't work. And it's almost like you're pouring your resources just down the drain, and you're getting no return on your time, and you're getting no return on your money. And as a result of that, your business is not only not moving forward, but you may actually have a very hard time sustaining profitability. Because as we know, marketing can be a huge expense. It can also be a terrific investment. And that's the problem, is if it's an expense but not an investment, that's what we have to work on. The third issue you end up with is you end up with the wrong kinds of clients, right? Clients that, sometimes when you're done working with a client, you just need to go straight to a bar and pour yourself a glass of wine because you really don't like working with these people. They give you headaches. They dispute your fees. These are the kinds of people who don't cooperate with you. So you need them to be engaged as you work with them, and they just don't engage. Either they don't get back to you fast, or they don't give you the right information, or they just can't make up their mind because they don't really know what they want. And the worst scenario is the person who negotiates you down to your very minimum fee, and then expects you to deliver amazing service like they're your top paying client. And then along the way, of course, they require a tremendous amount of hand-holding, and the whole time you're working with them, you're thinking, my God, I am losing money on this client like there's no tomorrow. How on earth can I get out of this? And so that's the third kind of situation. And the problem is with all of these, you just end up draining your energy, and you end at the end of the day you're exhausted, you're not happy, and every time you leave one of these client interactions, your energy just drops lower and lower and lower. I've had examples of a lot of attorneys that I've worked with who have not been able to find great clients, and as a result they're just really depressed, right? And if your mindset is drained out, if you're mentally fatigued, that really impacts your ability to get new clients and to take care of the clients that you have. Right? So this is a really troubling scenario, and it's something that we need to fix ASAP. So here's the opportunity, because it doesn't have to be this way. What we need to do is structure your marketing so that leads come through in abundance. Right? They just come right through your pipeline, and you get leads at a very regular clip, both the quantity you want and the quality you want, right? And they just flow right through your pipeline. We also want, rather than marketing to be an expense, we want marketing to be an investment. So when you invest a certain amount of dollars in your marketing, you should expect a return that is greater than what you invested. And you should be able to count on that reliably. If not, then you're just wasting your money on marketing. We don't want to do that. So we want to move from marketing as an expense to marketing as an investment, which means you're getting a return. And that applies, by the way, to both your money, and it also applies to your time. The third thing we would like to get is amazing clients. Clients that we love working with and clients that love working with us. These are the clients that really get the value of what you do, and they're willing to pay a premium to work with you. They're not going to argue with your fees. In fact, they might tell you you may not charge them enough. They will be a great source of referrals for you. And most importantly, every time you interact with them, you're going to experience an energy surge, right? When you walk out of that meeting, you are going to feel terrific. And we've all worked with clients like that, haven't we? Clients that we just absolutely love working with, that pay us a really nice fee. They're an absolute delight. Perhaps they're a great source of referrals. They're typically long-term clients. And every time we work with them, when we leave that meeting or that interaction, we go, yeah, I really helped out that client, and they really appreciated it. And that's where we want to get to. We need marketing that delivers leads that are going to turn into clients exactly like this. So that's our goal, and in order to get the most out of what we're going to be doing today, there's three things you need to keep in mind. The first is you've really got to figure out why your clients become your clients. So clients have three options before they choose to become a client of yours, right? They can do three things. The first is they can do nothing. The second is they can choose a competitor. And the third is they can choose you. So your clients have decided to take action, and they've decided to choose you over a competitor. What you need to figure out is, why did those clients choose you? Because clients choose you for a specific set of reasons. We just got to discover what those reasons happen to be. So there's something special about you and your business that made your best clients decide to work with you. So taking a step aside here for a moment, for those of you who did the one-page strategic plan, this might be your UVP, your unique value proposition. Or it might not. It could be your values. It could be your expertise, your passion. It could be just flat out, it could be your network in the case of a lot of referrals. It could be your marketing, or perhaps you just had a really strong personal connection. And truth be told, it's probably not just one of those. It's probably a combination of many of those factors. So you need to understand why your customers buy from you. Next thing we've got to do is we've got to overcome a key challenge that many of us have. And the key challenge is this. Many of us take the clients that we get rather than getting the clients that we want. Let me repeat that. Many of us take the clients that we get rather than getting the clients that we want. Gee, that's brilliant. So I just thought of that. I should trademark that perhaps. But it's true, isn't it? We end up being a little bit reactive about our business because we have capacity, and so we end up taking on clients that we don't really enjoy working with. Sometimes we take on clients that we know are going to be an absolute pain. So for today, we are going to focus on getting high-quality clients for you. So we're going to do a quick little exercise right now, and I really want you to play along with me on this, okay? What I want you to do is close your eyes. Close your eyes for a moment. Don't worry about the computer. Just close your eyes and just concentrate on my voice. I want you to think about a client who you absolutely love working with. So this client pays you a good rate, and this client gets huge value from your work together. They absolutely love working with you, and you absolutely love working with them. And in fact, if you could wave a magic wand, all your clients would be exactly like them. Okay, got it? You have that person or that company in your mind? Great, now open your eyes, and what we're going to do for today is we are going to align your marketing to fill your business with clients exactly like that person or that company, whoever you were thinking about. So for the rest of our conversation here today, thinking about getting more clients like that. Okay? And as always, if any of you have any questions, please type it in the chat box. Yeah? The third thing we have to do is we have to craft your message very specifically. And I chose those words with purpose. Your message is very important. It has to be your message, not mine, not anybody else's. It's yours. It's unique to you and your firm. Your message, we're going to be talking about message here in a moment, and so you'll see what we mean when we get into that. And it very much is a craft. It's not a science, although science helps, but like any good craft, it's part art and part science. And so you really do need to craft your message. A lot of people will practice, if they're doing an elevator pitch or a marketing message, they'll practice it. But practice doesn't make perfect, as I'm sure you've heard. Perfect practice makes perfect, right? So as an example, what do you say when people ask you, what do you do? So when people ask you that question, what do you do? What's your response to that? Do you have a rehearsed, scripted response? Do you have a response that you have a couple of mental bullet points and you try and hit those in a different way every time? Do you respond with a story? Or do you just sort of make it up as you go along? The truth is that what you say when people ask you that question, what do you do? It has a huge impact on your business. Your answer to that question is going to drive referrals, it's going to drive your marketing, and it's going to drive your confidence. So just as a quick example, when people ask me what I do, my response is, I'm a trusted advisor to small business owners, and I help them increase their income by 6 to 7 figures and take a 3-week vacation. I do that by providing inspiration, encouragement, knowledge, and tools, and the occasional kick in the butt when they need it. So that little phrase there, that's about 2 months old. And if you check in with me in another 2 months, it's probably going to be a little bit different because I'm always practicing and looking for ways to improve it so I can better get access to my ideal client. And think about if you've ever heard someone deliver a really dynamite elevator pitch. They stand up in the room and introduce themselves and they just wow the audience. They might even get applause. And people just think, boy, that person has their act together. So that's a 1 minute or maybe a 2-minute introduction, but you can bet that they spent many hours going through the process of creating that, refining it, practicing that marketing message, refining it some more. It's really an ongoing task, and it's something that they've invested a lot of time in doing. The key is the more powerful the message, the more powerful the results, and so what we need to do is really, really craft that message. So Jake has a comment about someone that really had that message down pat for their business. It looks like it's a little bit of an older message, but you still remember it. So Jake, what was it that really helped that stand out? Was it funny? Was it impactful in some other way? What helped you remember that? Just go ahead and type that in, Jake, and we will cover it as we go. Right? Clear value. Awesome. Yeah. Jake, do you mind if I take you off mute here and ask you to elaborate on that a bit? Let's see if we can do this.
Okay.
Jake, you there?
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine, yeah.
Okay. So a mutual acquaintance of ours, Antonio, he actually started up a steam cleaning business for home and commercial about a year or two back. And he had a really interesting, not only value proposition, but the way that he articulated it and the way that he crafted it was really amazing. And one of the things that Antonio also mentioned was having I think he said a latent demand or something that you maybe didn't really know that you needed or wanted, and then something you could charge a lot more for. So one of his things was he cleaned his equipment after every time that he went into someone's house or cleaned someone's house. And again, I think he called that a latent demand or something that you didn't necessarily know that you needed, but once you heard that that was possible or the benefits of that, you saw an amazing increase in value just because of just those few key words that he chose.
Mm-hmm. And what about his marketing message really made it memorable for you?
Honestly, I think it was the clarity. The way that he had crafted it and the way that he had his guarantees put together, just in his 30 or 60-second pitches, he was able to articulate it so well, and really just, I guess the words that he chose, they all really fit together and work together really well in again, crafting a really strong value proposition and really made you understand exactly why he's doing it and why he's different. So it's interesting because I can't really put my thumb on exactly what it was, but it was kind of everything all working in concert. So again, to your message, is crafting that particular message. It's something that was crafted really well.
Fantastic. Any guess, I guess, best guess on how long it took him to come up with that pitch that you heard?
I'd probably guess at least a couple months.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably spot on. Most of us have to revisit it every few months and make it better and better and better. So, Jake, thanks for that share, man. Really appreciate it.
Definitely.
And I know Antonio is going to be happy about that as well. So, crafting your message is key, and that's something I want you to bear in mind. What we're going to be doing here is a start, but it's certainly not the end. So you're going to have to create your marketing message or your elevator pitch and then refine it and refine it and refine it. Okay? All right, so the 3 keys we covered real quickly. 1, discovering your value. Number 2, focusing on your client. And 3rd, crafting your message. Of those 3, just type into the chat box, which one do you need to work on the most? Is it discovering your value, focusing on your client, or crafting your message? You can just go ahead and type in 1, 2, or 3 into the chat box, or you can type in the titles, whatever you like. So Tom chimes in with number 3, crafting your message. Jake, numbers 2 and 3, but perhaps focusing on the client more so. David says crafting your message. Fantastic. Well, we're going to give you some really good tools that you can use to do exactly that. So just a quick check-in. What's been most valuable to you so far? What's been most valuable to you? What's been most valuable to you so far? Just go ahead and type a quick phrase into the chat box. Any insight? Anything you'd like to share? Anything that has struck you so far? Not physically struck you, by the way, David. Getting some answers coming through now. From David, getting serious about good clients and finding more of what you want. Yeah, talking about being more proactive about getting those good clients rather than being reactive and taking the clients that you've got. Tom, this is something he's thinking about a lot already. Awesome. Jake has a good grip on value over the past month. So it's really good to have that. Right on, Jake. It helps to know that I need to focus on the craft of the message. Yeah. Test and measure. It's all about test and measure. Okay. With that, let's go ahead and get to work. Okay. So hopefully you can see my tablet here on the screen. For those of you that haven't seen Align Marketing before, I'm going to explain it to you. Tom, that's a really good insight about pricing and using it as your velvet rope. Would you mind elaborating on that if I take you off mute? Thanks, Tom. Let me go ahead and do that now. Tom, you there?
I am here.
Awesome. So a lot of people here may not have read Michael Port, Book Yourself Solid. And so would you mind elaborating about pricing and red velvet rope and what that means?
Yeah, so to me, what that means, well, let me back up. As a franchisee in my business, the thing that they teach all the new franchisees is to go do a free analysis, a free assessment, a free whatever as lead generation for new clients. And what I've found is that the clients don't value that information, or they take that information and go, wow, great, thanks so much, and then they hand it to somebody else and say, go fix it. So I've long ago stopped doing the free assessments, and people say, well, I need XYZ, how much does that cost? And I say, I have absolutely no idea. I need to do an assessment, I need to look at your competitors, whatever it is, and my minimum charge is $500 for that. And I've had people hang up on me, and that's totally fine because now I don't have to waste my breath on anything else. And I've also had people whip out their checkbook and say, do you want a check or do you want my credit card? And when they say that they're willing to spend the $500 with me up front, that means that they're more motivated, they're now financially invested with me, I've now opened the velvet rope to let them into my side, and they're going to be a much more valuable client than the ones who don't value the information that I gave them.
That is terrific, Tom. And since you're volunteering this terrific information, if you want to, feel free to let people know how to contact you in case they have questions about what you do to help people out.
Sure, yeah. Well, the easiest way to get in touch with me is just connect with me on LinkedIn. Just search for Thomas Petty.
Terrific. Thank you, Tom.
Yep.
And that is from a book called Book Yourself Solid.
Yep. By
Michael Port, this concept of the red velvet rope. And just to set the context there, it's imagine how you sometimes go to a club. If you're like me, you haven't been to a club in a very long time, but when you get to a club, right, there's the bouncer at the door, and when you show them your ID, they open up that red velvet rope and let you in.
Yep.
Tom, thank you so much for that. I'm going to get you back on mute. Thank you, Tom. So, Tom's absolutely right, is that a minimum charge is really useful to weed out those poor clients because it helps build motivation, it helps build engagement, and it really just saves you time and saves them time as well. So before we get into filling out this worksheet, let me get into the background of Align Marketing so you can see how it all goes together. One of the key mistakes I find with a lot of my clients is they work on marketing kind of backwards. So what they do is they start off trying to figure out their medium. And what I mean by their medium is how they're going to connect with their clients or with their potential clients. Their medium could be direct mail, it could be their website, it could be something they're doing online, but any kind of marketing tactic is what we're really talking about. And they start thinking, oh, I really need to do more on the internet. I really need to do more social media, or I really need some speaking engagements, or, I really need to do X, Y, Z. As Tom says, I need SEO. Thanks, Tom. And by the way, if you want to learn more about SEO, go and connect with Tom on LinkedIn. He's got a lot of fantastic resources on SEO. But yes, they start by figuring out and focusing on their tactic. And then the second thing that comes up is they start saying, you know what? Using that tactic, I'm going to go ahead and reach this market, right? And it's their ideal market. So this is typically your ideal client. And it could be a high net worth individual. It could be a large size market. Sorry, Tom's just chiming in here. I think Tom has a lot of examples for this. So Tom's comment, I even had someone say, I need SEO. I don't know what it is, but I need it. Exactly. So a lot of times they're doing this, right? Their medium is then, because you have a marketing expert like Tom talking with you, your marketing expert will help you figure out, okay, well, this is the market you can go after, or the market you should be targeting. Or maybe you've got already an idea of the markets you want to get into. And then based on that, you start trying to figure out, okay, now what on earth do I have to say that's going to make this market listen to me, and then I'm going to use that and inject that back into the way how I'm going to take that message out. The problem is this is all backwards. I know this is the way a lot of people think, but this is all backwards. What you need to do, if you want to really have a strong marketing focus, is you have to start with your message. Now let me just talk a little bit about your message. Your message incorporates two things. It incorporates your passion, and it incorporates the practical benefits that you provide to your clients. And there's a terrific book, or actually, sorry, there is a book, but there's also a TED Talk that you can read by Simon Sinek. Sorry, you can read the book or you can watch the TED Talk. Simon Sinek, it's called How Leaders Lead, I believe. Or How Leaders Drive Action. If you also Google or jump on YouTube and Google Simon Sinek Golden Circle, it's a very nice illustration of how to build a powerful message based on passion. And his theory is that people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. Now the reality is we know they buy both, right? They buy why you do what you do. Your values are important to them, at least an ideal client. Your values are important to them. And they also buy what it is, right? Jake, start with why. Yeah, thank you. This was on the most watched TED Talks. I think it was in the top 10 list. I don't know if it still is, but it's a terrific 20-minute TED Talk that you can watch. There's also a book you can buy. Between you and me, I've found the TED Talk to be just as good as the book. So either way, but figuring out your message in terms of your passion and actually what you're doing is where you want to start. And there's a simple way that we do that. It's called the 4 W's. Okay? The first W is, why did you choose your business? The second W is, why did you choose your area of expertise or your specialty? Both of these go straight to the passion. Third W question is, what benefits do clients receive from working with you? What benefits do clients receive? And the fourth question, which for me is probably one of the most powerful questions, what sets you apart from your best competition? The reason I put best in there, best competition, oh, by the way, these two get to the value piece. So when I would first ask this question, I originally just said, what sets you apart from your competition? Then I get things like service, and we care about our clients, and we're really good at what we do. All that may be true, but what they were comparing it to is they were comparing it to their worst competition. What I would challenge you to do is compare yourself to your best competition. So these are the people that you sometimes win deals against. Sometimes you may lose out to them. But answering this question is really going to get to the heart of what gives you true value over your competition that's out there. So this all informs, when you put these together, you can build a very powerful message. And you incorporate these 4 elements. You can put value first and then passion, or you can put passion first and then value. If you're Simon Sinek, you start with why, you put your passion first and your value second. But exactly how you do that is up to you. So we start with our message. Once we have this down, once we have the 4 W's down, we have those answers, that is then going to lead us to our market. Our market is comprised of 2 things. It's comprised of demographics, which are the things that you can search on in a database, right? It's the size of the business or the net worth of the client, the location. If you're talking about selling to an individual person, it might be their marital status, might be their age, might be their sex, might be whether they have kids or not. If you're selling to a business, it might be a certain vertical. It might be a certain size, it might be a certain location or set of locations. Demographics is that. Psychographics. Psychographics is really interesting. Psychographics gets to what is the emotional state, what's going on inside the head of your potential client when they want to buy from you. So what are their hopes? What are their concerns? What are their needs? And what are their fears? If you're able to tap into these 4 and you pair it with the right demographic, you can get a really powerful beat from a marketing perspective on your ideal client. The other thing that your ideal client needs to have is they need to truly value what you provide. So they need to align with you in terms of value. They need to align with you in terms of passion. The more they appreciate these 2 pieces that you bring, the better off a client they're going to make for you. Okay? So that is how you figure out your ideal client. It's the demographics and the psychographics. And from the psychographics, they should connect with you in terms of value and passion. So once you figure that out, you now have a message that's going to resonate with a specific market. That market is going to value not only what you do, but why you do it. Once you have those 2 things in place, that naturally leads you to the right medium to take your message and convey it to your market. And that is how you align your marketing, because when that happens, when you have the right message going to the right market and you're using the right medium to get it there, what you get is you get your ideal clients. Okay? Any questions on this so far? If you have a question, you can type it in the chat box, or there's also a little hand. There's also a way to raise your hand. You can do that as well. Jake says that was a lot. We'll need a replay later. No problem, Jake. We're not done. We're actually going to go back and go through the worksheet based on what we've talked about. So you're going to get an opportunity to put all of this stuff into practice. Okay? And the best way, I think, to learn something is just to do it. So let's get into that. So you can download, if you haven't already, the Align Marketing Worksheet and print it out. Or you can just, if you're like Jake and you've got this handy-dandy tool, you can just write directly on it. But as you can see, the Align Marketing Worksheet is broken up into 3 pieces: your message, your market, and your medium. right? And those correspond to message, market, and medium. And so what we've got here is we've got some really specific questions to tease the right information out from you. So for your message, these two, again, drive to passion. These two drive to value. So I'm just going to give you guys a couple of minutes here. Go ahead and fill out why you chose your profession and why you chose your area of expertise. Once you're done with that, go ahead and move on to client benefits and what sets you apart from your best competitors. Just do those 4 pieces. We'll give you guys a couple minutes to do that. And if you have questions, please raise your hand or type it in the chat box as we go, and I can just answer it in the time that we've got. Let's get started. Take the next 2 minutes to do that. And please jump in with questions right now if you've got them. Maybe you're not sure this applies to your market, or you're not sure about, maybe the value you provide to your clients. So we've got about a minute left, and just remember those boxes are small for a reason, so don't stress over it. Just go ahead and put down your best guess if you don't know, because your best guess is going to be most likely pretty much on point. And remember to keep that focus on that ideal client that we had identified earlier. Why did they choose you? They could have chosen anyone. Well, they could have chosen to do nothing, but they chose you. There was a reason for it. And why did they choose you over your best competition? Was it price? Was it relationship? What was it? Wrap it up. We've got about 5 seconds left. I'm not seeing any questions coming up, so I'm guessing that you are all good. Yeah? All right, so let's get back to. So now we've figured out the answers to these 4 questions, the 4 W's. Now I want you to put them together in this box here and basically put in your message. Now you can do passion first and then value, or you can do value and then passion. But take these 4 answers here and simply put them together. Passion plus value or value plus passion. And that's going to create your message. So let's just take a quick minute to do that. And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to provide a free plug for your business to all of us here on the phone. And again, if you have any questions, just type it in the chat box or raise your hand on the control panel, and we'll get it sorted. As you're wrapping this up, when you're done, I'd like you to type it in the chat box for me real quick. Did you do a passion plus value message, or did you do a value plus passion message? So if it's passion plus value, go ahead and type in P plus V. If it was value and then passion, go ahead and type in V plus P. Okay? Just type that into the chat box now, either P plus V or V plus V. Do it again. P plus V or V plus P. So we've got a lot of value plus passion coming up so far. So not following the Simon Sinek model specifically, but I like it. So now here's an opportunity. I mentioned I was going to give you a chance to give a free plug for your business. And here's how you do that. Just go ahead and raise your hand on the control panel, or if you can't find your hand raised, just type in yes, and I will unmute you so you can share your message and read it out to all of us that are here on the line, and this will also be recorded for everyone else that's going to be listening offline. So if anyone wants to do that, go ahead and type yes in the chat box or raise your hand in the control panel. And while you're thinking about that opportunity, let's go ahead and move on to the second piece, which is your market. So now you've figured out your message. That's awesome. We're good with that. Now let's talk about the market. All right? So I want you to put in the name of the ideal client that you thought about in our exercise. It could be the name of a person, or it could be the name of a company. If it's the name of a company, strike it out and write in the name of the person that made the buying decision at that company. Decisions are made by people. They're made by individuals. So even if it went to an RFP and went to a purchasing committee, there was someone that drove that decision or someone that's driving that relationship. So I want to know, well, I don't want to know, but you want to write in the client's name. So it might be John or Debbie, whoever it happens to be. Go ahead and write in their name. And then write in why they chose to buy from you specifically. Why did they choose to buy from you specifically? Remember, they could have chosen to do nothing. They could have chosen to go with another vendor, but they went with you, and there's a reason for it. So why did this ideal client buy from you? Once you're done with that, let's move on to identifying the demographics and the psychographics of this ideal client. So the demographics, again, are things that you can search for in a database. Might be sales, volume, if you're a business, or it might be age, if you're thinking about a person. But what are some demographic factors? Let's just take a quick minute and write out the demographics of the ideal client for you. And again, if you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand or type it in the chat box. So your ideal client, again, if you're talking about a person, what's their age, where are they located, they married, they have kids, what's their income, what's their educational background. And if you're thinking about a business, typical things are the size of the business in terms of employees or sales revenue, location of the business, the kind of business that they're in, whether they're publicly or privately held. And also this one kind of blurs both lines. Specifically the person in the business, are they a CEO, VP of operations, CIO, VP of HR, CFO, whatever it happens to be, okay? And these demographics are going to help you. They're going to help you identify a list of ideal clients. So we've done that. Now I'd like to take a minute and figure out the psychographics. So the psychographics are what's going on in their head that makes them want to buy. So what are their needs? What are their concerns? What are their fears? What are their hopes? What are their wants? Okay? These are the soft factors. These are the things going on inside their head that make them want to consider your offer and make them want to work with you. So let's take a minute, go ahead and write down the psychographics. These are not things that you can search on in a database, for example, but they are things that you can use when you are talking with them to say, oh, this person's my ideal client. They exactly need what I can give to them. Or, this person really isn't my ideal client, and maybe I should pass them on to somebody else. Just take a minute and jot in a few bullet points for psychographics for that client. Got about 30 seconds. About 5 seconds, just wrap it up. So we've covered these first two bits, the message and the market. The third part is the medium. Let's go through that right now. So put yourself in the shoes of your client for a moment. What marketing would your client actually appreciate? When would they be receptive to hearing what you have to say? Would it be maybe a speaking opportunity of some sort? Would it be email? Referral? Might be a video or something else, some other free informational tool. What marketing would your ideal client appreciate? Maybe they would appreciate a phone call and a visit. Whatever it happens to be, go ahead and take a minute or so and write down marketing that your ideal client would actually appreciate. So they won't run away screaming. They'll say, oh, this is appropriate. I get it. I'm receptive. Take a minute to figure that out because that's going to help inform your medium or how you reach your client and deliver your message. So in my case, if I'm doing this for myself, which I do about once a quarter, currently I really have 3 ways that my clients would appreciate connecting with me. One is through a webinar. The second is through speaking. And the third is through a referral. And there's really no other way that they're interested in talking with me. So those are the 3 primary areas that I'm focusing my marketing plan on, just to give you an example. I could do other things to attract clients, but they would not be my ideal clients, or the return on investment will be very low. 5 seconds, wrap it up, and we're just about done. Okay. So we are making great progress here. Okay, so based on everything you've identified here, what is your number 1 tactic? Just go ahead and write that quickly down in this box here. So we want to identify your number 1 tactic, and there's a reason for that, because that tactic has got to be maximized. You want to absolutely max it out if you do nothing else. The second thing, if there's marketing that does not fit with this, there's marketing that doesn't fit with the marketing your ideal client would appreciate, consider dropping it. And if you'd like to drop it, go and write it in here. Okay? Marketing to drop. Now, ideally, you can measure your return on your investment, and you can say, nope, this isn't working for me, and I'm going to drop it. But if you want to bring your marketing expenses down, or you want to really target your marketing, if it's not a part of this group, then you can consider dropping it. The worst marketing that you do is not the one that gets you no leads. Because, yeah, if it gets you no leads, it's a waste of time. But the worst marketing you do is the one that gets you really bad leads. Because that really wastes a ton of your time, gets you horrible clients, and creates a long-term drain. So if you're getting no leads from it, or even worse, you're getting lots of really poor quality leads, you want to be sure you drop it. Now, think about what marketing, knowing what you know now, what marketing you would improve. Is it your number one tactic, or is it something else? Between 1 and 3 different tactics that you would improve. And then last but not least, if there's a gap between what you're doing today and what your ideal client would appreciate, go ahead and add that in your marketing to add. When you're done with that, go ahead and write in your takeaways, what you got from today, and also at least one action that you're committing to do based on this session. Let's take a minute to fill all that out, and then we'll do some sharing and we'll be done. Got about 30 seconds. You should be moving on now to action if you haven't done already. Write down at least one action that you're going to take as a result of what we talked about here today. How can you refine or align your marketing so it works better for you? Well, everyone, great job. You've focused in today, and you've dug, I think, pretty deep. And let's just wrap this up real quick. So I want to hear from you. What's one insight that you've had from today? If you wouldn't mind, just please type that into the chat box. I'd love to hear what you got from today's session. What's one insight that you've had today, or what's one action that you're going to take based on what you've heard today? Got some responses coming through here from Jake. I need to focus on my target client. Yeah. Good. Focusing on your target client is, and it's not just the client that you want, right? It's the client that totally gets you. And those may not be the same thing just yet. Good. And I want to hear from Dave and Dave. Tom says, my marketing tends to take a back seat because I'm so busy. Yeah, that's the blessing and the curse, isn't it? David says, I'm going to get clear with our best clients why they hire us so I can attract more like them. Terrific, David, and thank you for mentioning that. If you don't know why your best clients hired you, ask them. It's a great opportunity to have a 5-minute conversation with them about why they chose to hire you and how things are going. They will really appreciate you asking, and you will get a ton of terrific information that you can use to get better clients just like them. By the way, it's also a good opportunity to ask for referrals. Okay, so as we're wrapping things up, the one action from today that I want all of you to take is to go ahead and send me your weekly plan for next week. So today is Wednesday. Weekly plans are due in Friday. And so this is a reminder and also a request. Go ahead and download the weekly plan template from the website, from the Spark website. Fill it out in terms of what you're going to be doing next week, and send it to me Friday. I'd love to get it. All right? Any last questions before we sign off? Going once? Going twice? Well, everyone... Oh, Jake says I didn't hear any pitches. That's true. I guess everyone has a ton of business. Jake, we didn't hear your pitch either, my friend. So, everyone, thank you so much. Oh, Jake is actually ready. All right, Jake, let's go ahead and get your pitch in. Let me go ahead and take you off of mute. Jake, you ready?
Okay. All right, I'm put on the spot here. I'm sure everyone wants to go. All right, so really quick, I specialize in tax strategy for small businesses up to $2 million in revenue. What sets me apart is I spend more than 4 hours a year working one-on-one with my clients, finding the best tax strategies for them. I love learning about new tax strategies and deductions, and dedicate over 107 hours a year to finding the best deductions for them.
That's great. And you are?
What's that?
What is your name?
Oh, I'm Jake Adams, CPA.
And how should they reach you if they want to talk more?
You can reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's Jake Adams, CPA.
Terrific. Jake, I thought that was really good. I especially like the amount of hours you spend both one-on-one with your clients and also time spent on continuing education. If I could add one thing to it, it might be thinking about outcome that you can demonstrate. So, I typically help clients reduce their tax by X, or I recently helped a client do Y, right? Some kind of proven outcome. But that sounded very good. Nice job, and thank you for sharing it. All right, anybody else? Going once, going twice? All right, we will call it a webinar. Everyone, thank you so much, and I look forward to getting your weekly plans over the next couple of days, and certainly by Friday. Have a terrific rest of the week, and be great.